What's poppin', y'all? We back with another episode of the Squid Games Aftermath podcast. I am your host, DeAndre, and today I have the fortune, the blessing to have a very special guest in the building, Miss Chaney, aka Player
Hey!
179 in the building. What's happening?
What's up, boo?
We just out here vibing, getting ready for this cold winter.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I just came from Colorado, so I'm a little prepared for it. It was beautiful.
No, there you go. She already getting a little taste. Well, Chaney, we gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
Why did you decide to apply for Squid Games, the challenge?
So I've watched the news, like I'm a periodic news watcher. So every day I watch the news, and I saw an advertisement for it come on the TV, and I was like, I watched the original show, and I was like, okay, they not really about to cast people to be on this TV show. So that was the first time I saw it. The second time I saw it, I was scrolling on CNN reading some news articles, and then I saw it again on there, and I was like, okay, maybe. And then I came home that same day and I saw it on the news again. I was like, okay, God, you trying to tell me to apply for it is what you're doing. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna apply for it. So I love the original series. I thought it was pretty dope. And I like how they just portrayed everything. And I love the games. And I was like, this would be really cool. It'd be a great opportunity. Never thought in a million years that I'd be casted for it. So that was a total shock for me. So yeah, I was a fan of the original series. And when I got the opportunity, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Didn't have faith, but I did it and I made it. So I'm happy about that.
As you should have, it's meant to be. So you get accepted onto the show, and then some months pass, getting ready and whatnot. And it's the night before you leave to get on the plane to go to London. What's going through your head?
So the night before I left to fly out to London, I went out. I went out and I turned up. I was like, I'm about to be out the country. I'm about to be out the country for about 2 to 3 weeks. I said, let me go out with my people. So I literally went out. I partied. I danced. I drunk. I didn't get home probably till 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I got home at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, I don't know. Like, I was so nervous, like going into it. I was like, I've never been to the UK before. I was like, I'm about to go across the world by myself on this journey that nobody has any experience. No one in my connection has any type of experience with anything like this. So it's like me charting the course for myself. And I was extremely scared. I'm not even gonna lie, I was scared. So I went out the night before. I flew out to London and I got tore up so I could be calm and relaxed on the plane the next day. And then I took a leap of faith and I just did it.
Okay, I like that. Definitely get the nerves out, so you ain't thinking too much. You just going in there.
No, I did. I was definitely hungover on that plane though, but yeah.
Good thing it was a long plane ride though, So.
It was a long plane ride. It was.
Okay. So she gets to London, turns up already, and she's vibing.
Yes, I was turned and scared. I was like, oh my God, is my passport good? Are they gonna let me through the border? But I made it, and it was absolutely beautiful.
So she made it to nice, cold London, and so we get in the
hotel.
hotel.
It was so cold. It was so cold. So that cold is a different cold because I've been to New York before too. That cold is a different cold. Like, yes.
That's what I keep saying. It's not the same. So
it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah. They're higher altitude than New York too. So it's definitely a little bit more.
That makes sense. Okay.
So you get to London and you're in the hotel for a couple days and, it's time to get ready to leave for the first game. Tell me what's going on in your head once you get on the bus headed to the game.
So once I get on the bus, I am scared shitless. Like, at this point, I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone that applied for it. We were seeing people in the hotel and stuff, like walking around getting the food and stuff, but I don't know anyone. Have no idea how red light, green light is going to go. I'm like, okay, is it going to be exactly like how the show is? I wonder what the set looks like. I wonder like how we're going to be piled up in there. So I was extremely, extremely nervous. And it was early in the morning and I was like, I didn't get to eat all my breakfast. So I was a little hangry. So I was like, all right, the bus ride that we had to take there was a little long. So going into it, I was very nervous and I was very scared going into red light, green light. And then when we got there, I clicked up with Darius, TJ, and Jesse because we were all in the same tent with each other. And so that made me feel like a little bit more relaxed because we were actually like, like we're in those tents. We're actually outside the tents, like practicing, like, okay, we're gonna run and then we're gonna stop and we're gonna do this. So we were practicing and we connected. So that made it way better.
Okay, so you had your strategy already going into
it. I created one. I didn't go into the experience with any type of strategy. Like I didn't practice the cookie or anything like that. The night before we left to go to red light, green light, I actually tried to look up some Squid Game stuff on there, and I was like, okay, well, I can try this, I can do that. It didn't work at all. So when we got there, and I connected with them, then we all started to, kind of like strategize together to see like, all right, how we gonna get through this first challenge.
Okay, y'all got the early bond. That's nice.
Yes,
nice.
It was so beautiful and it was organic.
Yeah, I definitely think the lines were the most organic relationships kind of in the show, just because you were by them from the beginning. So it's like you had to trust these people. And the thing is, you vibed with them too. It wasn't like you didn't get along with everybody in the line, but these specific people it just garnered to. So
and we made it so far. Like just imagine like just us being in those tents. And then all of us literally making it. All of us made it all the way up to like that elimination part where Darius got out, and then the marbles part where me and Jesse got out. So just starting from the beginning like that with them, and then getting all the way that far into the show, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, definitely. So when you get inside, you walk into the red light, green light arena for the first time. What's going through your head?
Okay, so when I walked into the arena for red light, green light, I was amazed. I was like, no, they didn't. Like they built this. They literally have a whole entire replica of Squid Game. So I was like, it is amazing. Very, very cold, but it was absolutely amazing. Actually, when I was in Colorado this past weekend, they like the little heat warmers that they were giving us that we can like put in our hand. They had some and like their little shop, and I was like, oh my god, Squid Games. I was like, I had this in my pocket. So no, the set was absolutely beautiful. I think they did an amazing job with that. I was amazed. I was happy. And then I looked at that doll and then I got scared because I was like, girl, don't come for me because I'm gonna make it across this line.
Okay. She said I'm gonna make it across, but we ain't gonna
make it across. Absolutely. It was no doubt in my mind that I was not gonna make it.
Okay. So we get a little practice round and then we get started, and then you go and get in your first position. So 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes pass, 15 minutes pass. What's going on in your head?
In my head, I'm like, okay, so by 15 minutes in, we're probably like on the second or third stop, maybe. And so I'm like, okay,
the first stop.
That was the first stop. Okay,
yeah,
so on that first stop, I feel like,
when you're posed, like for 15
my
minutes.
My first pose was very uncomfortable. Like I was kind of like low a little bit, and then we didn't know like how long we had to hold those poses at that moment. So I was like, okay, let me like get myself together and figure out like what's the best way for me to pose while we're in this. So once the first one was over, and then it was like the doll started singing, and then we were able to proceed, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put my hands in my pocket the entire time. So I would run, and then I would stop, and I would put my hands in my pocket, and I would stand still. That was my strategy the entire time, and it worked.
Okay, I like that. I like that strategy.
Yeah.
I did not know. Somebody informed me the other day that if you didn't pass the starting line, like you were way in the back, and you didn't pass the starting line, you could move a little bit, apparently.
What? So like the red line that we were on, if you were still behind it and the doll had stopped singing, you could still technically, because you haven't entered the game. I could see that. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't
know that either. Because I was like, were you in the front or were you kind of like in the middle or the back?
I was in the front.
I was in the front. I was like over there on the right hand side in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was on the left, so I didn't know that. So
I was scared. I didn't even know, like at that point, I didn't even know, like I was like, okay, would it be best to be in the front? Would it be best to be in the back, the middle, the side? Should I get on the wall? Like it was so much stuff going through my head, and I don't know, I just let God. I just let go and let God, honestly. I prayed so much. I'm not even gonna lie. I prayed so much during that challenge, so yeah.
Okay. The praying, and we praying during the challenge too. So we
absolutely. I was like, God, just let me get to this line.
So we inching step by step, hour by hour more.
Yeah.
And you end up you're getting close to the finish line. It's within sight and reach. What's going on in your head then?
So at that point, my feet were hurting, my legs were hurting. I was like, I have in my head, I was like, I got 2 more in me. I have 2 more stops in me before I could, because I might just pass out, in this moment. So I was like, God, please just let me get to this line in these next 2 stops. And I did. And I was just relieved. I was like, oh my girl, did we just do this? Like we just did this. Yes, we did. I was like, hold on, I don't have no ink on me. Like they're not gonna blow me up at the last minute. And they didn't. So I was very, very happy. I had a moment when I crossed the line. I was like, I'm in it. So I was happy.
Okay, so player 179 makes it past the first challenge unscathed. She's still in the money and keep on moving on. Congratulations. Yeah. And we out here. So we get up out of there. go to the hotel, then come back, and it's time to enter the dorms. So when you first enter the dorms, what's going on in your head?
So when I first entered the so when I first entered the dorms, you know how we had to line up walking into them, and then so whoever's in the front, they get to go in first. So like when we initially walked in, they told us don't choose a bed, right? So when I walked in, I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I was like, okay, me and my crew at that point, we were all in the same line. I was like, me and my crew, all right, let's just stand right here until they tell us, like it's time to go get a bed. And so everybody just started going and picking their beds. And I was like, no, we're not going to do that because they said like, don't do that. So I left back out to go and ask the people. I was like, hey, can we start choosing our beds? And then by the time I get back in, everybody had already chosen their bed. So I actually didn't get to sleep by Darius and TJ and them because everybody had started choosing their beds. So that kind of made me sad because I felt like I was like out in the cold. I was like, oh my God, I'm homeless. I was like, I don't know these people around me. I'm gonna be by myself. But Darius, he ended up moving his bed to be by me so that I wouldn't be by myself. So first impression of the dorms, absolutely beautiful. I was scared because you know how they're like stacked, like very tall. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm about to sleep all the way up there. So I got one of the lower ones that was like down towards the floor kind of. But it was beautiful. I think they did a good job. I was happy.
Yeah. No,
it was dope. Going in there and seeing that like for the first time, I was very happy. And then what played in my head was in the original Squid Games where they had that brawl. I was like, okay, it might go down in here. So I need to be safe. I need to choose a bunk bed to where if somebody come and try to like attack me, I have like some type of defense. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember you had the bed that was on the right. If you're on the stage, it's on the right side.
Yes, it was. How you know where my bed was?
I remember where you were sitting because you were sitting crisscross applesauce half the time.
We called this was when that's the first day when we got in there. So that's me, Darius, Chad, Sid. Now we called our little stoop. We called it a stoop first of all, and we called it MLK Boulevard. MLK Boulevard. Who's that side on MLK? And it was going down. It was so much going on.
Yeah, that's funny as hell. Well, I was behind you guys, like behind you guys to the right. So
to the right, okay. Yeah. Were you up a little bit, or you kind of like on the same?
I was on the same level. Same level.
Okay. So. See, look, you didn't even come over there to MLK. You ain't.
Hey, look, I wasn't even in my bed that much. I went through there. I did stop by a lot actually, and I remember I stopped and I saw you sitting there. I introduced myself the first time.
Yeah.
Your gold.
My little gold little thingies.
What do you call those things? What are those called?
They're called like hair accessories. Hair accessories. So I just clip them on to my little braids. Somebody in red light, green light told me that they were following them. Like, when we were running and somebody was standing behind me and they was like, all I was doing was looking at your little gold little trinkets. And I was like, every way she moved, I'm gonna move that way too. And they ended up passing through. I wish I knew who it was that told me that, but I was like, okay, they follow the hair trend. Okay.
Hey, it definitely stood out, and I like that. So we in the dorms for a little bit, getting acquainted, and we find out soon that 200 gets eliminated. What's going on when you see this happen?
So I never talked to 200. I'm at that point, I didn't know like what the conversation was, what the topic of the conversation was, what was going on, if he had rubbed anyone the wrong way. But I do remember people being hella fake, and I'm just gonna be honest about that. I'm gonna be very honest on this interview, okay? I do remember people being hella fake. Yeah. So when they called his number out, they didn't tell us like what the test was, because they were like, oh, the first test has been completed, and then the people chose elimination. We had no idea who those people were. I don't think people understand that. We didn't find out who chose him until we saw it on Netflix. None of us had any idea. So when we were in the dorm and they start counting the numbers down on the screen, and then it gets to 200, and they're like, player 200, you have been eliminated. And then you saw all those people crowding around him. I'm like, bro, y'all so fake. Like, y'all don't even know him like that. We only been in here for 2 hours. Y'all don't even know him like that. So I just like, come on now. Like, why y'all over here in this man face like that? This man that got eliminated on national television. He's the first person to go like that. So I was a little sad because I was like, damn, like we didn't know that we were gonna have like those little tests, So it was a little sad to see him get eliminated like that. It was, and then I just got pissed off because I saw everybody just over there being fake. Y'all don't even know him like that. Stop.
Yeah, it was some theatrics going on.
It was so much. It was so much.
I mean,
and I was over on MLK Boulevard, like, look at this. This is just a mess.
Hey, people had to get their Meryl Streep on.
They had to get their time in. They did that. And I will give them that. They did that.
Well, yes, 200 makes his untimely exit, but then it's soon time to go to the second game, and we walk into the white room for the first time, and we see 4 lines. When you walk in here, what's going on in your head?
So when we walked into there, we were kind of already talking in the dorm because we were looking at the pictures and stuff on the dorm. We were like, okay, after red light, green light, we're gonna play the cookie. So we were like, okay, it's 4 shapes, and me and my alliance, we were like, okay, well, what number should we choose? 1, 2, 3, or 4? All the dudes was like, oh, I saw 3 in my dreams. Every number has been coming to my head, and 3 is 3. And in my head, my woman intuition, I was like, I want to go with 1. Like, I love 1111. I think it's a very angelic number. I think it's very spiritual. And I was like, in my head, I kept seeing the number 1. So Lord beholds, we get into here. I'm going to go with my alliance, of course, because we have to stick together. So we all got in line 3. And then when they revealed our shapes and circle was number 1, DeAndre, when I tell you I had a mental breakdown. A mental breakdown. So I was telling the people that were in there with us, I was like, y'all, I'm about to lose my shit right now, because if I had and I went in my mib and I talked about it, and I wish they would have shown me, like, also in that light, because I did have moments where I was vulnerable and I was crying and I was sharing and I was happy. Like, I'm not always this strong, intelligent Black woman. It's also a softer side to me too. So I wish they would have showed, like, some of my mibs where I was actually in there crying. So after we get into the white room and I find out that we have the star, I'm like, this is it. It's over. Like, nobody wants the star. We're going to get out. And I was like, if I would have just went with my own mind, I would have been in line number 1. So yeah, that was being in that room and going into that doggone challenge. That was an experience for me. It was.
Yeah, no, definitely a time where you're like, okay, I need to take this game into my hands, and
Yes.
whatever my instincts are telling me, I need to go with,
Yes.
instead
My
of kind of
instincts
just
told me
follow
1.
my group. So
My instincts told me 1, but my loyalty told me 3. So I was like, I chose my loyalty over my instincts. We'll never do that again, by the way. But I chose loyalty over instincts. Yes.
Yep. And eventually, yes, line 1 goes in there, they can't figure it out, they're out. Line 2 goes in there, can't figure it out, they're out. And then line 3 figures it out, and it goes in the order: circle, triangle, star, umbrella. And you are in line 3, which is star. So you find out you get star, you walk in the room, and it's time to get started. How you feeling about the star, and tell me how it goes?
So we were good. So, it took some time for us to go on there and actually film, like, our segment. So while we were in the white room and we were waiting, we were strategizing. So I think TJ or someone, they were actually in there talking to I don't know what shape Mai had. I don't know if she had the star or not, but she was in there sharing some strategies with us. And so she was like, the best way to do it is to melt it. And so when we walked into the room, I had, like, so much spit, like, saved up. This is so nasty, y'all. I'm so sorry. But I had, like, so much spit saved up in my mouth, and I was just harvesting it, because once they told us to start, I opened, the tin can or whatever, and then I just said, bleh. That's exactly what I did. And I let the cookies soak. I let the cookies soak from the bottom up. And then I was carving on the top. So I think it was a beautiful strategy. I saw, like, all those people licking it and stuff like that. I didn't do that. I let it melt. I put the spit in there. I let it melt, and I was carving on the top, and it came out like that.
Hey, easy does it. Easy does it.
And we were all sitting in a circle, me, Jesse, all of them. We were all sitting in a circle, and we were, because you could talk in there. So we were helping each other, a little bit. And then once I finished before all of them, because I'm a G. So I finished before all of them. And when I was getting up, I was telling Darius, I was like, Darius, you need to use more spit. You need to use more spit. But so, we leave, show them the cookie, and then we go into the waiting room. And at that point, it's like a waiting game, because I'm like, damn, is my alliance going to make it out or not? And they all did, and I was very happy.
Yes, you and your whole alliance was making it through the game.
We was killing it. Like, we were killing it.
Hey, she was killing it. And it's, they all make it past a second game. So
yeah, but it's like we 2 down.
2 down and only a few to go.
Well, only a few to go.
Not including the test. But yeah, we get back into the dorms, and then we see this telephone booth. Are you thinking about picking up the telephone?
No, I'm not. This is not the Hunger Games. I'm not volunteering as tribute for nothing. I'm sorry. So Darius, crazy self, gonna go over there, and he was like, I'm about to pick up the phone because he wanted to get this chocolate muffin. And I was like, have you lost your damn mind? Like, we have not. I'm sitting over here. I think we're still over there on MLK Boulevard at the point. So I'm sitting over here looking at this fool, about to go over there and pick the phone up. I had no intentions of picking that phone up, because I was like, no, it's just gonna be a no for me. No, because I don't know what it is. And then when the dude picked it up and he got the burger, and then that whole I don't think people understand like how intense that was. Because seeing it on TV doesn't do any justice to how we saw it and experienced it in there. It was like I don't know what's the most savage animal, a cheetah or a lion. It was like a hyena. Like they just pounced. And I was like, okay, I know we've been in here and we've been a little deprived, but y'all just stole this man whole burger. Like y'all stole his fries. I was like, oh my goodness. I got a piece of the burger though. I'm not even gonna lie. No, because I didn't go over there though. Darius was over there. Darius had got a piece of the burger, and then he brought me a piece. Like he was like, Chaney girl, I got a piece of the burger, so he gave me a piece, and I ate it. I did. So I got some. I didn't go over there and snatch it off the tray, but I did get some.
Yeah, I think everyone took it once he told them he was halal and he couldn't eat the burger, and so that's why he just kind of just let it go, and they all
okay. So that was true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then they brought out a halal burger for him, which I heard, and then also, so yes, 198 picks up the phone, and then a couple other people get some treats, donuts, pizza, and then he picks it up again, and then just find someone
who did get a pizza. Oh, I was so mad at him because he was my friend and he needed to give me a slice.
Hey, he's little. He needs the food.
Exactly. So he could have shared some. That boy came over there talking about how good it was. I was like, if you don't get away from me. But you know what it was? So, like at that point, we had been in there for some time, and I felt like they were listening. Of course, they were listening to like what we were saying, and so like I always talk about food. So we were like, oh, we want pizza, we want chicken, we want burgers, we want this. I'm gonna get this when I get out. And Lord beholds, when that little part comes, they bring all that stuff in. So kudos to them for that. I like the fact that they're listening, and they threw that little twist in there. I thought that was good.
That was not a bad twist. I wasn't mad.
Yeah, I wasn't upset with that twist. Yeah.
So, yes, 198 makes his untimely exit as well, and he is Amazon Prime shipped up out of here real quick, real fast.
It's giving next day air.
Exactly. He was home quickly because he is from Britain, so he was there. Didn't have to, could walk home at that point. And so we move on to the third game, and we walk into the white room, and there's 8 lines this time. So what's going on in your head now?
So we're thinking, okay, we've done red light, green light. We've done the cookie. We started counting the people that were left in the room. It was like, it's tug of war. We're going in for tug of war. I was not scared at all because I had TJ, I had Darius, I had Jesse. So my alliance was solid, And so when we walked in there, we was like, okay, let's just pick a line. So we got a line, and then some other people joined our line. Some of those people we didn't want in our line because we were like, y'all not an asset, to the team. We need stronger people. So it was a little, little conversations here and there, a little hectic there. But immediately walking into that room, we thought it was tug of war. But I wasn't scared at all because I loved the people that I was with, and I feel like we would have did good on it.
Yeah, I definitely think y'all would have definitely done amazing as well. But, another twist. We walk into the room and we find out it's not tug of war. It is warships. So when you see it's warships and not tug of war, how you feeling?
I'm like, this is it for me because, baby, I have not played warships a day in my life. I have no idea how this game works. I think I played it maybe like once when I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade. So, and then after that, like I wasn't even like playing strategically. I was just putting the little lights in there, and I was like, oh, I don't know what it was cute to me.
It did light up.
I didn't have no strategy. I was like, oh, this is cute. Let me do this. And so when we walked in there and it wasn't tug of war, I was sad because I was like, I don't know anything about warships. I don't know like how to play it. We didn't know at that point like how we could be saved or how you could be eliminated. So we picked our captains, of course, TJ and Lucille. I'm gonna give Lucille her credit here because it's not really shown in the show. She was the reason why we won that game. I'm gonna be honest. She knew how to play warship. She was actually playing it in the hotel before we left to go to the set. She was playing it in there, so that's how we ended up nominating her to be captain. And she was just very strategic about it. My team is the one we didn't lose anybody. All of us made it out. And so it was because of her. I will give her props for that. But it was absolutely beautiful. Me and Darius was in the same boat together. And I think he got hit. And I was like, oh my God, Jesus, we going down. I was not ready to go. But Lucille, she took that and she saved us. So I'm very grateful to her for that.
Yeah, she definitely was the most deserving player that episode.
Yes, and I hate that she didn't get enough credit. Time.
Yeah, she didn't get the credit she deserved. Definitely.
Yeah, she took that for us. Absolutely, I agree.
So shout out Lucia. But congratulations, all y'all team make it, and you are moving past the third game. It's going just as planned from the
Yes.
test. Okay,
All
everything is
together, we
smooth.
still all in it. 3 games down, and we're still all in it. At that point, it felt amazing. It did.
Okay, and then we get down to 70 people.
70, yeah.
70 people. And so now they get back in the white room and they say there's going to be 2 tests before the next game. And the first test is to everyone get in a line and you put this Pac-Man looking machine out and everyone type in a number to vote out 3 players, but obviously you pick one. So when you hear these rules, what are you thinking right now?
So when I hear these rules, I was like, okay, we're gonna strategize. So we were over there talking, and we were like, okay, everyone, like, what numbers are you guys hearing in the dorm? And everybody kept saying 330. So I want to clear this up. I don't have no vendetta against 330. I never talked to that man in his dorm. It was nothing personal for me, but because my alliance wanted that number, that's the number that I chose. It was nothing personal for me. I had never had a conversation with him, and I think we chose it wasn't out of revenge or anything like that, because at that point he hasn't done anything. He's been good to everyone in the dorm, and so it was very strategic though. It was like, okay, he got a lot of momentum behind him. He has a lot of following. He has a lot of influence around the dorm. We need to get him out because he's a threat to the alliance. So we chose him. Now, when we had to line up, we had no idea, because at first, like, we didn't know, like, the way that we were lining up was the way that we were going to vote. So you see that we're kind of in the front. I would, if I could redo that, of course I would be in the back, so that I wouldn't have to be the person that put the number up there on the screen, you know? When we were lining up, they didn't tell us that this was the order that we were going to be voting in, you know? And so it's my turn. I go up there to the podium. I'm very loyal. And if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to stand on my word. So I go up there and I'm like, all right, well, we said 330. So 330 is what I put in. And then, you know, the dorm was like, no, she didn't. Yes, I did. And I meant it.
Well, I think a lot of people actually were calling his name out because he was trying to get people to play games to, you know, let's play a game. And then that'll determine who will go home. And everyone's like, no.
Yes. And so I've been getting a lot of backlash from that. Like I've been getting a lot of hateful comments from doing that. Really? And then I'm like, when people are coming on my TikTok and stuff like that, and they're saying this, I'm like, excuse me, like, have y'all not watched the episode? Like, it's so even people's favorite, Mr. Rick or whatever his name is, even he was on there saying that he doesn't even hang out with doctors because they're such a way. You know, they're in the room cutting up the apples or whatever we was talking about. 330. So I'm like, because I was the one that put him up there on the screen, I'm the one getting attacked for it. Like I felt some type of way about it, because I was like, bro, y'all have to go back and y'all have to rewatch the episode, because I'm strategically saying it's nothing personal. I have nothing personal against him. Yeah. So no, yeah, that kind of made me sad a little bit, because I was like, dang, I'm just, you know, going along with my alliance, and y'all think somebody called me racist. I said, excuse me, my eyes are slanted too. I damn near look like this man. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, not even the least bit. Most people who came on the podcast so far that voted for Dr. V said is because he's trying to, you know, he tried to rally people together and do this game thing, which is like, it's not smart move, and he was talking too much. So he was going to get voted for regardless.
Yes. And so I'm like, bro, do y'all not understand that the 3 people with the most votes are the ones that got eliminated? So at that point, even though my number was up there on the screen, if everybody doing wanted me gone, I would have been gone at that moment. But I was never a target, because I wasn't the one going around rallying people up in the dorm. I'm staying to myself.
Yep, and that's what you did. So eventually, Dr. V 330, Andy 374, and Lorenzo 161 all make their exits. Yeah. And yes, it's time to move past them.
Yeah.
Goodbye. And it's time for the next test eventually. And we soon find out that the guards come out and they bring 6 boxes on stage, and they need 5 people to volunteer. So before we get to this part,
okay, let's get into it. I already know. I hear that pew 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 before we get to it. Okay.
So before we get to this part,
drink some water.
Moment. Yeah, drink that water real quick. I'll set you up. So in the edits, this is exactly what we get. We get Dash in the bathroom talking to Chaz, and he's saying we need to vote together strategically. And this is kind of, I think, about the first vote that we're talking about. But then when he votes for you. And he tries to cover it up. And then I also meant to ask you this. So after the vote's over and the 3 people go home, he goes up to you, and you guys have a little chat, and you're like, did you vote for me? And he's like, no, I would never. But on the look on your face made it look like that you knew that he voted for you. Did you know that he voted for you?
because I can
How did you
see.
know this?
So you know where I was standing at? I could see every single number everyone was typing in at. I could see the podium.
But he
And
was
I talked
covering his
about it in my
hands up.
meal. I could see.
He was covering his hands up though, so how could you
Yeah,
fully see?
well, so he was covering his hands up, but it's like he knew that I could see. So if you, because you can see like where I'm standing, and I think people started eventually figuring it out because a few people started like covering their numbers up. But you know I can see. So why, if you knew you wasn't putting my number in, why are you covering your numbers up? What are you hiding? So you already went up to the podium being shady because you knew I could see, because you knew you was going to put my number in and you was up there being shady. So that's why you was covering your hand up, because you know I could see. Yeah.
Okay. So,
And then my intuition was just telling me like, he's not for you.
So were you guys friends before this?
Huh? No. See, yeah, let me clear that up. No, I was never friends with Dash. Okay, I was never friends with 141. First time I met Dash was when we crossed the line at red light, green light. He crossed and he was having an emotional moment. You know, it's like it's a victory, it's an accomplishment. Also, a little bit of theatrics in there, crying, doing the most. I was like, oh my God, like, are you okay? You know, are you good? He was like, yeah, I'm just taking it all in. I'm like, cool, gave him his face. Next time I run into Dash is when we're on the bus going back to the hotel from red light, green light. He sits next to me on the bus, and you know, he's trying to build a relationship and start a conversation. We're probably about 15 hours in, 17 hours in at this point of the day. We are exhausted. Okay. So I didn't have the energy in me to sit there and have like a conversation. And I'm also a little guarded. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm also a little guarded when people come off like overly too friendly or like overly, you know, like it's a way that you build relationships. But if you're overly this, then it's like, what is your intention behind that? You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking at someone's intention. So if you're overdoing something, like, what is it? Why are you overdoing this? Like, what is it that you're really after? What is it that you're really trying to do here? You know what I'm saying? So immediately at that moment, I was like, Chaney, I don't know. And I was like, all right, I'm tired. I'm gonna get up from this seat. And I told him when we were on the bus, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get up and go to the back row and I'm gonna take me a nap. So I got up and I went to the back and I laid down until we got back to the hotel. And he gets up and he goes upstairs to like where the other people are on the bus, and you know, it was tee-hee-heeing and talking and all that other stuff. Once we get into the dorm, him and Darius become friends. You know, they're the same community, so they become friends. And so where the friction comes from is when we went in to play warships. Dash thought that he was going to be on our team. He told Darius that he wants to be on our team. Darius was like, well, you got to go in there and you have to convince them and like let them know. By this point, you know, he was already walking around the dorm, just doing the most. In my opinion, he was doing the most. And I was like, no, I do not want him on our team. I don't want him to be a part of this alliance at all. I don't want him to play any challenges with us at all. And I was very upfront and I was very honest about that. And Darius knows it. And so Darius just didn't have a heart. He just didn't have a heart to go back and tell him that it was a no. He didn't. So that's where all that comes from. So after warships, we go in there and then we have to do the number elimination stuff. So now it's looking like, oh, well, Chaney has a problem with me, this and this and that. I don't have a problem with you. I just don't have any intentions of being friends with you or working with you in any type of manner in this situation, because I don't think that you're a trustworthy person, to be honest. And so after that, when he put my number in, and then they show us over there in the corner having like a conversation or whatnot, and then it goes to the clip to where he was like, he put my number in, and I was like, I wasn't surprised. I already knew, because I could feel it, you know? I could feel it.
Yeah. Now you could see it on your face that you kind of knew. Like, I could just see it on your face. Yeah. Like, you have to ask, and you can't just straight up say, I know you voted for me, because then everyone's looking at you, and then it starts a little thing. So that's smart on you to keep it.
What I did know is that he was going around telling people that he voted for me. Like, I had no idea that conversation that was just not very smart in my opinion, but I had no idea that he had that conversation in the bathroom with Lucille and him. I had no idea that he was telling people that he voted for me. No idea at all. Because when I asked him, he said no. And then he goes into the MIB and was like, I voted for Chaney because she's a ringleader. I'm not the ringleader. And everybody keeps painting that. Everybody keeps painting that image of me, D. I was not the ringleader of that group, of the alliance. I wasn't. I know it looks like it, but I wasn't.
No, I believe you. Some interesting. It's about a game of perception, and I guess it's certain angles people stand at and certain angles people see you at is maybe, you know, you seem from afar. This isn't fair either. I don't think it's fair to just assume things about people and where they stand. You know, you haven't given any speeches at this point, like TJ
Yes.
has. You
I've been
haven't,
low
you know, put
key.
yourself in the middle. You haven't really been doing all that. And then,
I've been on
so
MLK
people point,
Boulevard. That's where I
yeah, you've
was
been
on
chilling. And
MLK.
so I think it's just not a, like not a demographic thing, but I can't think of the word, but like an appearance type of thing. Cause you see like, people see you and you're paired up with these three guys and they automatically think, okay, she's running things because she's with these three guys. Whether if it was two girls and two guys, then it might be the guy that they point as the leader,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So it's that kind of thing. And then that, you know, you have a very stoic presence to where, you know, when someone's talking to you, when you're talking to somebody, they're listening, you know? It's not like they hear you, you know? It's not like you're talking and they're like, what? No, they hear what you're saying. So it's that kind of thing as well, which credit to you, you know? Not a lot of people have that. And I think that's kind of where it came from, because a lot of people, what I've learned is a lot of people have their own truths. And their truth to them might have been Chaney's the leader behind this, or certain people, because this is what I believe. Even though it's not true, this is what I believe. And so I'm saying it must be true. So that's kind of where it probably was coming from, which your truth is like, well, why would I be that? It's not mine. And it's people just kind of people aren't that smart is what I'm trying to say. they just not that smart.
That
and
makes
they try
sense.
to
I like
jump
how
to
you put that.
conclusions.
Yeah.
They try and jump to conclusions. You know, it's like the black, is it the black and blue dress or is it the gold and white dress type stuff? You know? So, but yeah, so I definitely feel you on that. I would not paint someone unless I saw them. TJ, 100%.
100%. Like he wants to be. 100%.
So
I'm just trying to chill. I'm trying to get to $4.5 million. Like
she's trying to get there.
I'm trying to get there as low key as possible.
Exactly. And so eventually, yes, you get told by Darius that Dash admitted to voting for you. And so you don't seem surprised when you hear this.
I was not.
I mean, what did you think when he told you this?
I was not surprised at all. I was like, I already knew he was coming for me, you know, for whatever reason it may be. I already knew it. And I was like, this is someone now that I have to really watch out for. Yeah.
She's like, I got to get my goons on this man.
Yeah.
All right. So, so it's time for the next.
No, they went after him on their own. No, I'm lying. They did. Okay, let's talk about the Jack in the Box. Because it was a moment that happened, and I'm gonna share because I just saw Lucille's interview and she said something on there, and I'm gonna address it.
Okay. Well, we'll get to Jack in the Box now. And so, yes, there's guards bring out 6 boxes. There's 5 players, and the 5 players they need 5 players to walk up. And 5 players that go up is 183 Jesse, 375 Joel, 229 Felicia, 130 Jacobin, and 79 Kyle. So all these people get up there. 183 is first. Jesse, he gets to eliminate 2 people. Eliminate 2 people.
He gets to eliminate 2.
Yes, 2 people. The first person he eliminates is 26 because he says he doesn't know her, which I had her on the podcast, so check her out. She's and next one is Dash. He's out of here because you know he was coming for you. So and you were Jesse's your main person. So it's like obviously like duh. So that was knowing the context behind it. It's duh. On the show, it doesn't really give good context, which I wish it did.
So what they don't show is that when Jesse, were you still in it at this point?
I was gone by then.
You was gone by then. So what they don't show is once they got up there and they're like, Jesse opens his box first or whatever, Jesse actually walks off the stage and he walks over there to us. And he was like, hey, I need some numbers. He comes over there to me and Darius where we're standing and he was like, hey, I need some numbers. I straight up told him 141. I don't remember if I told him 26, but again, I never talked to 26, but I know that she made a comment about me in the gym. She made a comment about me on the while we're in the dorms and stuff. And she was just saying like, I'm stuck up. I say to myself and blah, 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 blah. So it was very unpleasant. So I can't remember if I told him 26 or not. But when Jessie said that she has never spoke to us or any type of manner, and that's not my expectation for her to. I don't expect any of y'all to speak to me. I'm here to win $4.5 million. I have the people that I need. That's it. And so when Jessie was like, she's never spoken to us, I kind of feel like, because he was right there when the person came over there and was talking to us about the whole ordeal, about her like feeling that type of way. And so I feel like that was one of the reasons why he did choose her number, because we never had a conversation with her, but you have this invisible problem with me. You never spoken to me. You don't even know my name, quite frankly, at this point. And then Dash
pause
number.
real quick before you get into Dash. I'm gonna just say one thing real quick. So if I were you, just get for full context on both sides. Check her podcast out, and she dives into this very specifically, and it's little stories, different stories on that. I would listen.
I've
to
never
that.
had a conversation. When I tell you I don't even know her name.
So maybe not you, but Jesse apparently had a conversation with her.
Oh, Jesse had already talked to her.
That's what she said. So I would listen. I would check her podcast out and see, like, just that part on it.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'm just trying to clear myself up and make sure that I wasn't the one that gave him her number, because I knew that she, had said that about me.
I think she just said that about Jesse. I think she just said
okay,
that
awesome. I was like, because I don't know if I gave her number or not, but Dash, absolutely. He came over there. He's like, I need a number 141. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Very cutthroat with it. Yes.
Yep. Then he goes
going around the dorm, stirring up stuff. But at this point, him and Darius hadn't had a big fight, and I was like, he has to go. He has to go. And so I told him that, and Jesse, he came through. He did, and I love him so much for that, because that showed me, like, that's what we here for.
Well, Jesse did the deed, and so those two leave. Then Joel self-eliminates.
That was sad.
Yeah,
because he was so cool.
Yeah, he was cool. He was a good dude. The Jacobin gets the advantage. Kyle eliminates one person, and he eliminates why am I forgetting?
Darius.
He eliminates Darius. Duh. So how do you feel when he eliminates Darius?
I was heartbroken. Darius was he's my squid boo. He's been my person since day one. So I cried a lot. And again, I wish they would have shown that side of me, but they didn't. I cried a lot. I went in that meetup and I cried a lot. And then I also went up to Cal and I had a conversation, because during his speech, he was like, this person is causing controversy, or he's like doing stuff in the dorm or whatever. And I was like, well, no, that's 141 that was actually doing that. That wasn't Darius that was in there, on that messy type stuff or whatever. So I was very hurt. I was like, damn, I'm like in here by myself now, because Darius is the person that I actually called my friend. Jesse and TJ, those are strategic alliances, but Darius was my friend. And so when he got eliminated, I was very, very sad. So I had a conversation with Kyle. Of course, they didn't show it. After Kyle walks off the stage, he's sitting over there by the door where we actually come into the dorms. And I was like, hey, can I talk to you like for a little bit? And he was like, yeah, sure. I was like, I just want to, clear everything up. I was like, Darius wasn't the one that was going around the dorms, starting all this drama and stuff. I was like, it was actually Dash. And I'm so happy that they portrayed it like how they portrayed it in Netflix, because it backs up what I was in there telling him. I was like, Darius is not the one being messy or starting lies and drama and stuff like that. It was Dash. And I was like, when you got up there and you said that, I was like, I just want you to know that that's not true. So, I'm a ride for Darius 100%. And so I had a conversation with Cal after that. And, we gave each other a hug and all that stuff. So, yeah. But at that point, I was very sad. At that point, I had checked out mentally. After Darius was gone, I was done. And it shouldn't have been like that. I was I'm too emotionally invested in Darius' ass. Like, why you so doggone invested in this man? Girl, you were in here for $4.5 million. Like, hey, get your shit together. But it was just so much. Like, we're away from family. I'm away from everyone. I'm here by myself at this point, So I felt really alone. I did.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel you on that. And a lot of people when their friends kind of leave, they kind of, to a point shut down a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
I did. I did.
Yeah.
After that, they wanted to do interviews and stuff like that. I declined. I was like, I'm just not in the headspace to talk. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to be around anyone. Like, I was literally just over there, just in my bed, just laying down, because I was like, I'm here by myself now.
Yeah, no, 100% understand that. Well, you're still in the game, because then, last person is Felicia, and she eliminates 3 other people. And we move on to 63, and soon the guards bring out this picnic basket and blanket, because these people completed this chore with oranges, and you guys get this prize. And so when they bring this out, what are you thinking?
So I didn't even want to get out of my bed to go to the picnic. I'm gonna be honest, because that was the day right after Darius had got eliminated. So I was still in the bed. I was still going through it. I was still like just mentally checked out. So Chaz actually had to come and get me out of the bed and say, hey, we're about to have a picnic. Like, let's go over here. It's going to be some sweets and stuff. Let's go over here, like enjoy ourselves, and like, it'll lift your mood up. So I get out the bed, we pair up, we sit down. You know, they got the brownies in there, the candies in there. I'm like, oh my God, I get a sugar high. I was like, this is what I need to get me back to my mental state to compete in this game. Because at this point, I'm just done, you know? And then when we find out it was marbles, I was shattered. I was like, bro, I don't even want this no more. I was so mentally defeated at that point. I was like, man, I just wanted a day of rest. If I would have got like one day of rest, then I would have been okay mentally, but it was just back to back to back. So opening that picnic basket, I enjoyed the treats. I'm not even gonna lie, that orange juice was really, really good. Brownies was good. And then we found those marbles and I was like, damn, I gotta go up against Chaz. I was like, I'm just sad all over again.
Yeah, no, it's just hit after hit after hit at this point, and
it was just like boom, boom, boom.
yeah,
it was
just
going
smooth, and then
smooth. It was going so smooth, and then it just said,
yeah.
And it took a toll on my mental. It did.
Yeah, and you guys end up getting marbles. You paired up with Chaz 221, and you guys are headed into the marble arena. So when you get in here, you kind of have, you guys have an idea of what you're playing already.
Yeah.
Tell me how your guys' game goes.
So our game went actually good because we were already planning. We were strategizing in the dorm before we actually went in there in the set, but we were strategizing to do that against other people. So when we went in there, we were playing against each other. We had to completely come up with a different strategy. And so Chaz was like, I'm still mentally checked out at this point. I was like, I just don't give a damn. And so at this point, Chaz was like, all right, how about we just throw the marbles? He was like, we'll make 3 circles. This one is worth 3. This one is worth 2. This one is worth 1. And the person that gets the most points is the winner. And I agreed, and we duked it out to the end. I tried my best and I lost, and it didn't even hit me that I lost until I started doing the after interviews. So I was very sad. I went in there once I started doing my mid interviews and stuff. I was crying because I knew like I was not mentally there. I was still checked out from everything else that was going on. I was like, if I would have just been a little bit more prepared mentally, then I probably would have, came out that game victorious. But I wasn't, and I took an L. I'm happy that I lost against Chaz because, he eventually became a part of our alliance too. So I'm happy that I lost against someone that had like good character. So yeah.
Wow, definitely 100%. Because you guys had a solid bond, and you went out high with your head high. So
yeah,
definitely, and. So, yes, that's where you exit, unfortunately. So tell me when you get back home finally and you get off, get out of London, tell me how you feeling when you get back home.
So when I get back home, it was a shit show. I'm going to be honest. It was so much going on like within my family and stuff like that. So I get from this traumatic experience. I just got eliminated. I'm not going home a millionaire. So all that happened, and there was a lot of stuff going on with my family, and then I have to go back to work. So all 3 of those things taken into account, I was just mentally done. I was depressed. I was like, I'm just not ready to deal with all of this, like losing and then having to come back home and actually deal with real life. Like I wasn't ready to do that. So I started therapy. I'm not gonna lie. I started therapy because there was a lot going on in my job too. So started therapy, started journaling, and just started working out hard again because I had to get my mind back right in the right space. So it took me a couple of months to get like back to me. It did. It was an adjustment.
Yeah, no, that's kind of Elliot. I spoke to him earlier or yesterday, and he spoke on that too. Like it kind of took a while, because
yes.
I mean, you're pretty, you made it pretty far, and all the stuff that goes on with it, it's a lot of more mental things than you anticipate, and just jumping from, I guess, not having quote unquote any responsibilities to just everything thrown in your face.
Everything. Yes. Yeah. It was a lot.
I definitely wish they could have, maybe a stipend to a certain degree of like,
that would have been beautiful. Because I would have loved to take like another week or so off of work, just to get my mind and stuff back right to where, I'm able to go back out and function.
Yeah, because I mean, I stayed in my house for 2 whole days, didn't see a single person.
Really?
I just needed time. Yeah, I needed time alone. Like I didn't want to go outside. It was just It's just your brain.
I think I got back like that Friday, and so I had Saturday and Sunday to rest, and then Monday. And then, I'm in the classroom teacher. Well, at that point, I was a math teacher. I'm an instructional specialist now, so now I teach the teachers. But at that point, I'm a math teacher, so I get off of this experience, and then I have these 48 hours to just get back on the time, whatever, the time difference is different. So I have to get back adjusted to the time, and then I have to go back to work. in the classroom full of kids where I'm interacting with everyone and I have to teach these kids. They got to pass the state test to graduate. It was a lot. It was.
Ooh. Yeah, I used to be a teacher, so I kind of understand what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That
it was
is
a
not
lot.
an
And to
easy
have to
job
put that
at all.
face on, and it's like, is everything else? It was a lot. And then like watching the show again, like when it came out, like all those emotions and stuff come back. It was like reliving it. It was. So yeah.
Well, Chaney, I can say you definitely, you should hold your head high. You did a lot of great things in the show. You had to put yourself out. You had to put yourself out there, and you fell back when you needed to fall back. It was just some kind of unforeseen circumstances that kind of got in the way.
Yeah.
Which, we all learn from. This is the first time you had to deal with something like that, and hopefully, So I could say, what kind of did the show? Like, did it teach you anything? Like, did you grow from it? Like, tell me about that.
So I learned that people are gonna be people, and I learned that a lot of people are gonna show up as their representative, and that is something that I have to work on getting accustomed to, because I show up as me. Like, you're not gonna meet my representative, you're meeting me, my authentic self. And I saw, like, being in that experience, that's not how a lot of people operate in life, and so that was an eye opener for me. It was an eye opener to just always like be aware of like my facial expressions and things of that nature, and just like how I'm coming across to people, because I don't always want to come across. I know I'm a strong Black woman, but it's more to me than that. That's just one surface. I have a beautiful soul. I have a beautiful spirit. It's like, it is, all of this is just beautiful, and I wish that was portrayed more in the show. Do I want to do some more TV? Absolutely. I don't want to be on that big of a cast. Nah, that's too much for me. Yeah, but would I ever do something else like that? Yes, absolutely. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I feel like I was me. I was in my element, and I want to do some more like it. Yeah.
Hey, you heard it here first, man. Get Chaney on another show, man.
Maybe get me on another show.
I want to see Chaney on Big Brother. That'd be perfect.
On Big Brother? I keep saying that. I've never watched an episode of that. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
You should watch it. I recently,
should watch it. It's pretty good.
I started watching a couple seasons, 2 or 3 seasons ago, and look, it's okay. It's a little corny at times, but it's CBS.
Okay.
It's a social game overall. Like, you have to know how to
I would
be good
have
with
to
people.
Socialize.
Yes, you have to, or else you're not gonna win.
Okay.
Unless actually,
well done. I'm gonna let you do some more work on me.
Well, I will say there was this girl in this past season, not to get off topic, there was a girl in the last season who just really didn't. She talked to people, but she was Australian and she was just not involved with anything, and she got 3rd place because nobody wanted to waste their time voting her out. So she just floated to the end.
You see, like, let that be me. I'll do that, but I want to be 1st place, so I don't want to be 3rd place.
They won't do that for you, though.
Myself to the, huh?
It was a white Australian lady. They won't do that for you, though.
Yeah, no, they won't. They're gonna attack me on the first day.
Oh, but yes, I definitely want to see you on my TV again, because you got a great, bright personality, and I think the world needs to see
Thank you for allowing me to show that on your platform.
I appreciate you doing that. I mean, I'm definitely trying to make, where people can tell their story and be themselves and not feel like curated and being just asked questions, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see what's going on in people's heads.
Yeah.
So it's
this
definitely,
is amazing.
I think, perspective. Well, thank you so much, Chaney, for joining me. I really do appreciate you coming. You are a beautiful soul and a beautiful person, and I cannot wait to see what's coming up, because I have a feeling some big things will be coming.
You gotta manifest that for me.
I just have a feeling. You just got that essence.
Manifest it for me.
You just got that essence, girl. Come on now.
Thank
you. Got that essence. So definitely, and I 100% appreciate you coming on. You got any final words for the people before we get out of here?
I don't. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for the yin, all of that. Either way, I'm still on your screen. So 179, baby.
Hey, 179, and I appreciate y'all coming through. Peace and blessings. Have a wonderful rest of your day.